Hi everybody, this is Alan back with the first in the second series of lectures under Badge 2, leading to the intermediate level of Excel proficiency. I'm going to keep this lecture to about 15 minutes, okay? And as usual, I will post this worksheet right after the video. And if you're viewing this, that means that you've passed your first proficiency quiz for Badge number 2, and as always, I congratulate you on that, okay? Now that we've covered tables, we're going to get into our next section, which is graphs and charts. I'm going to call them charts because I don't want to confuse it in your minds with graphics, which have more to do with fonts and appearances. Okay, so we're dealing with charts, and the creation of charts within Excel is actually quite easy and to a certain extent quite intuitive. I hope you'll agree with me after you view this and the next one or two lectures following this one. What I've done here to demonstrate how easy it is to create charts is I've listed two columns, the years and sales, some sales numbers there for you. And like other things we've seen, like importing pictures, sample art, and even tables, those are all called objects. Okay, so charts are an object as well, and that means that we can embed objects into an Excel spreadsheet. As you'll see later, we can actually take the charts that we create and put them on a page of their own. You've already seen how to do that, but we'll see how Excel makes it easier for us later. So again, over here, I've got years, which I haven't filled in yet, and sales. So to create our first chart, I'm just going to come over here to the year and put in, I'm going to start with the year 2011, okay, 2012, 2013. Now, I'm doing this on purpose. You're not going to see anything appear, okay? You may have encountered this glitch if you're using the Sierra level of the Mac operating system. If you type a value in and it does not appear, don't worry, I'm working on that glitch with Apple. But if you scroll off and then scroll back, it will magically appear. The number was there, for some reason it's not appearing. Okay? Now you will notice that the year appears like a number. I did that on purpose. I'll fix that for you later. But I just want to take these sales numbers for each one of those years and I want to display it graphically in a chart. Okay, so here's how we do it. Again, I don't think you can see my cursor in this Apple operating system, so I'm going to describe it in a play-by-play as I go. I'd like you to come up here to Insert, okay, which you see up there on the ribbon. I want you to click on the Insert tab, the one right next to Home, okay? And before, you'll remember we inserted a table, the third icon from the left. Okay, this time I'm going to back out of this for 1 minute and I'm going to highlight my data. Now there's a better way to do this, I'll show you in a moment. So I highlighted by left clicking and dragging from upper left to lower right. That's highlighted. Now I'm going to come up here to where it says, it's about the 10th one from the left, recommended charts. All right, to the right of that you see all kinds of little chart options. You know that there are many types of charts you can use, but I just want to use a straight bar chart, okay? So I'm going to go to recommended charts. They're going to give us the most common ones, and I'm going to left click on that. Okay, there's a line chart. Right under that is a bar chart. I kind of like that one. I'm going to use that one. So I'm going to click on clustered column. Left click on it. Now look at that. The object appears right here in the middle of my Excel spreadsheet. It is an embedded object, just like a table. Okay? All right, very good. Now I'm going to show you that this chart, like any other object that I know of, can be moved and resized very easily. As I move my mouse within the chart, you'll notice that it changes to a whole bunch of little subtitles telling you what it is the cursor is hovering over. That's handy, okay? So for now, I want to grab the edge of the chart. I'm just going to, it turns into a north, south, east, west pointing arrow type of cursor. And I'm going to drag it upwards and to the left. Okay, just grab it anywhere. You can do that. It's called a handle in Excel terms. Now you'll also notice that at each one of the points of the compass, the top, all four corners I should say, and all four sides, there's a button that's also called a handle. If you drag that, I'm going to grab the one on the lower right. I'm going to left click and hold, and I'm going to drag it down and make my little chart into a big chart. Now that's a lot easier on the eyes, I hope you'll agree. Okay, so you can move the chart by grabbing that frame anywhere on the outside, and if you grab it on one of the handles, like the one on the top, you can pull it straight up, or if you grab a corner, you can pull it out and down, or out and up, okay? All right, very good. Now you'll notice that Excel has filled in my years as numbers. Okay. Now, with certain types of charts, like stacked columns, using a number as one of your titles could be confusing to Excel as it's trying to interpret what it is I'm hoping to do. So to make my life easier and Excel's life easier if it tries to second guess me, I'm going to come over here to where it says year, and I'm going to make those all text values. I'm going to hit a single quote and then re-enter 2011, okay? And I'll do the same with 2012, the year 2013. Pardon those chimes that you hear, friends, but someone's trying to email me apparently. Apparently with a great deal of persistence. Okay, and finally 2015. Now I want to point out to you as I changed each one of those values, okay, each one of the values underneath the corresponding blue bar in my chart changed as well. Okay? Now if I wanted to change any one of these numbers, let's say I wanted to make that 142,000, 140,000, watch the bar on the far left. You'll notice that it changes as well. Okay? Excel is also trying to size these bars in a range that it thinks will cover most of the values that are upcoming. Okay? So we may see all those values on the y-axis change. Excel is trying to accommodate what it thinks I'm doing. Okay? Once again, I'm outside of the chart. Now, anytime I click within the chart, you'll notice what happens. I get 2 additional tabs in the ribbon, just like we got when we were dealing with tables. Okay? All right, now here's a very important distinction I want to point out. I'm going to add 2 more years. Now, watch the chart very carefully. I'm going to add 2016. Let's make it 170,000. And I'm going to add 2017. And let's make that 185,000. Okay. Once again, I'm going to scroll off and back so my 185 appears. That's a Mac glitch. I apologize for that. Now, you'll notice that my chart did not update. Well, that's not very good. Okay, one of the things you want to do always when we're dealing with Excel is take advantage of the powers that Excel offers us. Please remember, you can turn me off at any time and play with this. You can't hurt anything because you can download this blank worksheet again, okay? So you can turn me off, my recording off, and you can practice, okay? So I encourage you to do that. So let's get rid of those values I just added because they didn't do my chart any good at all. All right, now here's what I want to do to make my life easier. Now what I could do is I could add those 2 years and then I could re-scan I could highlight my entire table of data again and then the chart would correct. That's too many steps, okay? As a business person, I learned decades ago to always follow the path of least resistance, and if something can be done in 1 step through a shortcut, you take it. So what I want to do is I want to take all this wonderful data up here, friends, and I want to turn it into a table. Okay? You know how to do that already from our first series of lectures for Badge 2. All right, and it's very recent too because you just took a quiz on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click in the ribbon, Insert, just as a refresher for you. And the third icon from the left is Table. I left click it. Okay, my little window in the middle of the page appears. Where is the data? Yes, it is absolute reference A3 through absolute reference B8. Well, remember, absolute means it's fixed. That's what the dollar signs are for. Okay, I want to keep the headers. It's not going to affect my chart at all. And if I get any surprises, I'll let you know. Okay, there's my table. Now I'm going to add those 2 years all over again. Now you'll remember, when I add new values at the bottom of a table, everything automatically updates. And we're going to see that by using a table, it automatically will make the chart adjust. Okay, so once again, we're going to add 2016, and I'll use 170,000. Right away, Excel's waiting for a value there. You see what happened? Now let's take the year 2017, and let's really ramp our sales up, and let's make this one 187,000. Now watch the bar on the far right. Bam, there it is. You'll also notice that the y-axis values are updating as Excel continues to try to second guess me, wondering what the range of my data will be. And it made all the other bars fit accordingly. Okay? All right, very good. Now, here's another quick refresher for using tables, ladies and gentlemen. It's very hard in my table to read blue on blue, so I'm going to click in that table. All right? Bear with me. All right, now my table tab reappeared in the ribbon. I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to come over here into the middle where it gives me all of these options for appearances. And I'm going to change it to this orange color. There, that's a lot easier to read, isn't it? So there's a quick little refresher on the use of tables. I remind you every time I add a new value underneath, okay, the chart will update for me. Okay? All right, very good. Let me see. The next thing I think I will do with you as we conclude this video lecture, and I hope you found this, this helpful, is I'm going to show you how to do a couple of things within the chart itself to affect how it looks. Now remember, we create a chart whenever we really want to add a lot of pop, a lot of power, a lot of zip to a presentation. And in my case, that was usually to someone that we really wanted to impress, like a new customer or someone with whom I was doing a business deal. I really wanted to show them, to emphasize to them the professional nature of my business. Okay, so the use of charts carries a lot of weight. As a teacher, when you show me a presentation, when you give me a project, if you include charts and graphs, it really catches my attention, and I think I speak for a lot of other professors when I say that as well. Okay, let me see. So the two new tabs that appeared, I don't think I'll have time to get to formatting, but on the far right of the ribbon now, you see Chart Design and you see Format. So let's click on Chart Design and see on that tab and see what changes. Okay, there are a whole bunch of different things you can do to affect how your chart looks. All right, so the end of this lecture and the next lecture will focus a little bit on that. Okay, so first of all, let's look at the one on the far left that says Add Chart Element. Okay, I'm going to click on that. Now here, ladies and gentlemen, like most drop-downs in Excel, again, this is the part of the iceberg in my old iceberg analogy from our first badge. This is the part of the iceberg that's underwater. It's the biggest part. Okay, you can use Excel without ever going down under the water. But if you know how to do it, if you know how to submerge and take a little scuba dive for yourself, you'll find that that power is what really makes you stand out as being proficient in the use of Excel. And that does carry an awful lot of water with your future bosses and also with your professors here at Dean. Okay, so look at the drop-down. Now you'll notice I'm going to hover over the first one that says Axes. Of course, that's referring to the X and the Y axes, the respectively horizontal and vertical axes, on which we plot our data in 2 dimensions here. Okay, now you'll notice that there are sub-menus, primary horizontal, primary vertical, and then here's a big one, more axis options. Okay, whenever you click on more options, look at them all, and this drop-down that appears way over to the right, okay? So you can do all types of operations over here. I'm going to hold off on those a little bit, but since it's the first item in our first drop-down list, I wanted to show it to you. I'm going to click on the X in that Format Axis box and come back over to Add Chart Element. Click on it again. Okay, Axis Titles. Okay, you can select Horizontal. I'm just going to click on that for a moment. Now, did you see what happened at the bottom of your chart? Okay, down at the bottom it says Axis Title. I'm not going to start changing that yet, but that is where you can actually entitle everything on your Y-axis. In this case, of course, you might indicate year. Okay, and then you can do all kinds of other things with it as well. Now, please remember, when you do something in Excel or any Microsoft product, I think for the most part, whenever you want to undo what you just did, including this, I want to undo what I just did and go back to where I was. So I'm going to come up here, back to this bar again, the green bar, and I'm going to click on that little reverse arrow that says undo, okay? And everything I just did disappears, okay? All right, so I'm going to come back to Add Chart Element. Hold on, please. And one little problem there. I have to click in my chart again. Please remember, it's very hard to do damage to anything in Excel, especially if you keep backup files. Okay, every time you do something different, please back it up. Okay, so I'm going to click on Add Chart Element again. We've seen what titles can do. I'm going to click this time on Chart Title. Look at the choices. You can omit the title. Now, I never put a chart title in there, but right away, because all of the variable data by year that Excel sees here is based on the column heading Sales. okay, from my table. So Excel is assuming that I want that as my title unless I tell it otherwise. Okay, so if I want no title at all, I would click on None. There it goes. It vanished. I click Undo to get it back. Let's do it again. Chart title, this time above chart. You'll notice it's checked, and it is indeed appearing above the chart, just like you would expect. Okay? I could instead choose Centered Overlay. All right, and that embeds it, you'll see, right in the chart itself. And you can move that around. You'll notice there are little dots and a border around it. That means you can move it around. Those are also handles. I'm not going to mess with that now. Again, I'm just showing you some of the flexibility and some of the mini features that charting contains. Back to beg your pardon, Add Chart Element. Left click on that. Data labels. I find this one very, very handy. Okay. In other words, we see bars roughly at about $140,000, about 140 something thousand. We don't know the exact values. We can refer to the table, but let's say you just give your boss the table, okay? He or she doesn't know what those actual exact numbers are. So if I click on, right now it's on None, if I click on, how about Outside End, watch very carefully what happens. All right, all my table data appeared right above the relevant bar, okay? 147,000 for the year 2012, for example, okay? So that's one example of data labeling. I'm going to come back here and I'm going to turn that back off again, okay? And they disappear. I also could have come up here and clicked on Undo, that reverse arrow that's up in the green bar, okay? What else can Add Chart Element do for us, okay? All right, and that's going to be about it for time, friends. My timer just went off, and again, if I make this video lecture too long, it will not post to Dean's My Courses system, so I'm going to keep it short, and I'll pick up from here in our next video lecture. So at this point, I'm going to sign off and wish you good luck. Remember, experiment and explore, and keep backups for yourself, okay? I'll be back with another lecture very soon. Bye-bye.